Shawn Sipple is here from OverStreet Access. I'm so excited for him to unveil the most amazing product that they are pushing out. And I won't speak too much, but I will say that we've been working really well and trying to get this information to you all. And I was really geeked about this because wait till you see all the ins and outs of this app and this platform. So I'm going to hand it off to Shawn. Shawn, tell us a little about yourself, how you got into this, and who's a part of this and why. What's going on?
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for having me on. So basically, just a little bit of origin story. I've been a application developer and technology director for a bunch of different web agencies for the past 30 years, and I'm also a comic collector. And about 5 years ago, I was getting frustrated with having to manage my collection using multiple different online apps. So I reached out to the guys at Diamond and Gemstone and pitched this project to them, and it's pretty much all she wrote. So we've been working on this thing for the last 4 or 5 years, and we have a pretty robust and amazing product that we've come up with. So I'm looking forward to showing you a little bit about it.
Awesome. And so you want to talk a little about the Geppi Enterprise, period. A little bit of history about them. As a kid, I have to show you, not as a kid, but I knew about the Geppi family for years, and then I moved to Baltimore, and they used to have a actual museum there, and I have a membership every year, and it's no longer there, but I get to go to DC and hang out and go to the Library of Congress to hang out their stuff. But can you give a little bit of insight on the overlap between Geppi and Overstreet?
So Geppi family owns Geppi Family Enterprises, and usually they're primarily associated with Diamond, but they also own Gemstone, which in turn owns the IP for Overstreet, the Overstreet Price Guide. So basically, what we've done here is we've taken that Overstreet Price Guide, which for years has been kind of the Bible of comic valuation, and we've digitized it. So we created an online application that's got a very vast comic database, not just comics, but all the metadata that's associated with them, characters that show up in comics, the contributors that worked on them, as well as providing Overstreet valuations for those issues. And if that wasn't enough, on top of that, we built a pretty robust collection management system that you can use to manage your collection and kind of manage the value of your collection. And yeah, so we got some pretty exciting stuff. Actually, one of the newest features that we just launched, instead of doing a barcode scanner, we went ahead and created a full cover scanner. So this will allow you to help visually identify issues that were published before barcodes were out there. So we don't have any limitations on barcode. It's pretty slick. So you can basically just point and shoot, take a picture of a comic and get all the metadata about it, Overstreet value for it, and also add it to your collection. So that's just one of the exciting things that we've done.
So it's super helpful, super powerful. There's so much nuanced pieces to it. Would you mind showing us what it looks like and possibly, what the value is for anyone who might want to get a membership? And eventually let's talk about what giveaways as a sponsor that you all will be providing for some lucky folks today.
Sure. And just before I start, just to note, since we have some limited time here, I'm going to be going through a lot of different features here. If anybody wants to have a more in-depth demo, I'll be hanging out in the booth after this, and I can jump online and talk to you about any of the other features of the system, and kind of go through everything with you. But with that, I will dive right in here. Let me get my sharing up here.
And if you all could do me a favor, make sure you put down where you're from, where you're at in the chat so that people can actually connect with you. Just say hi to each other. And it's going to be a full day of that, hopefully. And we're looking forward to it. So back to you, Shawn.
Okay. So hopefully you guys can all see my screen here. So basically, as far as the database goes, you can search for comics a variety of different ways. So you can search by publisher, title, you can view story arcs, search by character, contributor, and we also have a retailer lookup. So you can find retailers that are, may have valuations in stock that you're looking for. So I'll kind of just jump right in. So if you click on titles here, and let's go ahead and we'll just search for Batman. So with the keyword search, you can also filter by series or trades. There's a whole variety of different content types in here that you can search for. So let's just go and we'll jump into a series here. So you find a title that you're looking for and click on that. This takes you to our title detail page where we've got all sorts of metadata about that particular volume. And if you scroll down, then you can start seeing all of the different covers for all of the different issues. Right now, I've got variants turned off, but if I turn this on, now you can see all the listed variants for all the different issues. And as everybody knows, the variant game is pretty overwhelming. I think that we've added close to 200,000 variants into the system over the last year, so that's been a lot of work, but it's led us to have a pretty complete database of comics. Once you click on a specific issue, you get taken to that issue detail page here. And again, we have a bunch more metadata about that specific issue, whether or not first appearances here, cover artist. We've got information about the story synopsis, and then of course OverStreet values here. So you can see the value for this specific issue at different grades. If you happen to have that book in your collection, you'd be able to find it. Here I don't have it in there, but hold on just a second, I'll show you how that works. This drop down allows you to view all of the individual variants for that specific issue. We can see characters that show up, all of the contributors as well. And then if that issue is part of a story arc, you can get quick access to all of the other issues that are in that story arc as well. If this is an issue that you're looking at acquiring for your collection, in the where to buy section, you'll be able to see any of the retailers that are in the system that currently have this issue for sale. So if we go and check 3 Alarm, 3 Alarm has 2 9.8 copies. They don't have any sale price listed, but here's the contact information. And one of the important things about OverStreet Access is that we're never going to be a transactional site. You know, our goal is not to sell comics through the site, but our goal is more aligned with providing connections and communication for collectors and retailers, so that you know, collectors can go out there and find the issues that they need. Retailers can help liquidate some of their back issue stock and form new relationships with new customers that may or may not be inside of their geographic area. So basically, it's almost more of a comic matching service as opposed to a transactional site. But anyways, so that's kind of the basic data layout there. You search for a title, you search for an issue, and then you can interact with that issue. So if we wanted to add this, actually, let's go back and we'll add a whole bunch of these. So let's say I go out and I buy a whole bunch of Batman Rebirth issues. You can come in here and I can very easily select all of the issues in that run. I can apply a base grade here. Let's put everything in a 9.2. Then let's say I don't have an issue 2 or 3 or 4, but I have 2 number 1s. I click select to add, and then I choose which collection I'm going to put those in. So I put those into new collection, and I already set up a box in here just for Batman. I add that. Now basically in just a handful of seconds I was able to add, you know, several hundred Batman issues here, or 147. So now if I go to the collection area, I can see my available collections. I can see their current estimated guide value. And then when you click inside of a collection, you can see just all of the boxes in your collection. So actually, this can work as an inventory management system too. So if you scan in all of your books and they correspond to the actual physical boxes that are in your collection, if you're going to look for a specific issue, you can just navigate to that issue through the database, and it will tell you what box and what collection that's in. So if you're looking for a Punisher 280 and it's in, you know, somewhere buried in your comic room, you can just go navigate to that, and it will tell you what box in your comic room to go look in. So that's pretty handy. When we click inside of a box, then we see all of the issues that are in there by publisher and then by title. So if we pull this drop down here, you can see all the Batman issues that I just added in there. One of the other handy things is this thing that we call a gap list here. So if I click on the gap list, what this will do is it goes out and it compares what I have in my collection with the total number of issues in that series. And it will only show me the issues I don't have. So remember, I unclicked 2, 3, and 4, so I can see those here. So again, if I'm, at a comic shop and I'm going through long boxes and I pull out, a Batman #2, I can see just by looking at my gap list that that's one that I definitely need. And I can go ahead and add it straight into my collection from here. So let's go ahead and put a 9.0 on that. Save to collection. It comes off my gap list and is immediately added into my collection. So this is just a handy little tool that will allow you to maybe curtail the amount of duplicates that you buy when you're out combing through long boxes, which is definitely a problem that I'm sure all of us can identify with. One of the other cool things that we can do is we can go and we can look up retailers in our area. We use 3Alarm. I like these guys. Click on their profile here, get information about the store, and then here's all of their online stock. So these guys have been pretty active in here. They have 2,695 titles and various issues within those titles. So you can just kind of browse through. We can search. So if you want to see what amazing Spider-Man issues they have. So these are all the titles that they have available in their stock. Now, this Issues I Need button is something that's really cool too. So this will actually cross-reference their inventory with our gap list. So when I click on that, the only issues that I'll see in this list are issues that they have that I do not have. So again, it's a tool for collectors to come in and very easily start locating issues that they need to fill runs and to complete their collections. I know I'm breezing through all of this stuff here pretty quick. So again, I referenced different ways that we can search for stuff. So if we come into story arcs, let's go look at Nightfall. This is one of my favorites here. So I can come to Nightfall. I get a little bit of descriptive information about that story arc, and then I get a chronological listing of all the issues that are part of that story arc across different titles. So let me shut the variants off here so you can see this a little easier. So you can see that we've got 491 and 492. Whoops, 491 and 492 of Batman, and it switches over to Detective Comics. And then we've got Showcase 93. So, this is a really easy way to kind of hunt for this information if you're a completionist and you're trying to, finish an entire story arc. The other thing that's cool about this is if I click on this button from the story arc page, I can add multiple issues from that story arc all at once. So if I go to my LCS and they have, one of those saran wrap bundles of Nightfall here, instead of having to go and hunt for issues across all 6 or 7 different titles that Nightfall covers, I can just come in here. I can add all of these. Let's go ahead and drop them into my Batman box. And then when I go into my collection and check this out, now I've added multiple issues across multiple volumes here all at once. So that's a pretty handy thing. If we're searching by characters, let's go check out Wolverine here. We get some bio information. We get a link to his first appearance issue, the number of titles and issues that this character's shown up in, and then we get all of the different volumes that we can scroll through. And of course, we can look for trade paperbacks that character's in, series, annuals, all that kind of stuff. And then when I come into that, if I click on this, this will only show me the issues from that volume that Wolverine shows up in. So I don't have to comb through all the other, 600 ASM issues out of this volume and try and locate those. I can just see the 3 that Wolverine shows up in. And the contributor section works pretty much the same way. So let's go look for my man Garth here. So we get a little bio information about Garth, and then we can look at his body of work here. And again, if we click on this, this will only show us the issues out of that series that specific contributor worked on here. So out of an 8-issue series, he only worked on volume 4, according to the database. So that's kind of a basic look at the functionality that we've got going on. We've got some other cool features here. One of the other things that is really, really handy is if you've got a lot of money tied up in your collection. Obviously, we're all concerned about disaster and stuff. So getting your collection insured is of vital importance. So one of the tools that we built here is an export. So I'm going to export this entire collection to Excel. And then it flips us over to our download section. And basically, this is a file repository that we can use for backups of our collection. You can download this Excel file and send it to your insurance agent. It has a breakdown of every single issue by collection, and each box has its own little Excel tab with all the issues, the grade, the current guide value, any of the metadata and notes that you've put in there, whether it's CGC certified or CBCS, all of that information. So you get a pretty complex overview of your collection that you can either keep for your own backup or give to your insurance agent. So yeah, pretty cool.
That's insane. That is absolutely insane. I know you have a whole slew of other things. I just want to let you know there were some questions in the chat as well. Actually, I'm gonna Tom Rivera, I'm gonna show it on stage. Tom asks, how much is the membership?
So okay, Tom, that's a good question. So we have 3 basic memberships. The database is free. So the database and the cover scanner. The cover scanner is mobile only right now, but you don't need to get the app for it. You can just go straight to overstreetaccess.com through your browser, and you'll be able to scan comics. You won't be able to get the price information or the collection management stuff, but at least you can identify something. So if you're looking at a Virgin variant, you can't tell what series that's from. You can just take a picture of it. It will tell you if it's in the database. It will identify that, and you'll be able to get information on that. As far as paid memberships go, we have a bronze, silver, and gold membership. Bronze is for guide values only. That's $3 a month or $30 a year. And basically that'll give you pricing information for anything that's in the database. You can scroll through and look up all the values. You don't get any of the collection management though. That's the silver and the gold levels. So our silver is kind of our entry level collection management. It's for collectors that have less than 5,000 comics. So you get one collection, as many boxes as you want to put in that collection, but only up to 5,000 issues. And that's $5 a month or $50 a year. The gold is kind of like our top level account. You get up to 5 collections. So if you want to separate out your key issues or have a separate collection for your trades and hardcovers, or if your kids have a comic collection, you can put their stuff in a separate place and kind of manage that separately. You get as many unlimited boxes within those collections, and you get unlimited issues too. And that's $9 a month or $90 a year.
That's like really cheap. I mean, for the headaches that we've been dealing with Excel spreadsheets and other subpar, inventory platforms, this is like amazing. The one thing I wanted to also showcase, maybe we'll have some time to talk about it, is the app piece, because I think that also is a game changer in the scanner. So you want to talk a little about that and how that's the game changer, really, and how it coincides real time with your stuff.
So we have a mobile app, but the site is also fully mobile responsive. So if you don't want to use the app, you can also get the same experience through your mobile browser as well. The cover scanner works through both of those, and again, scanning those issues and identifying, especially with the the Virgin variants and kind of some of the stranger comics that are out there. Old Marvel Presents that are flip books that have dual covers on both sides. You can scan either side of that. It will match it up into the database and allow you to easily and quickly identify issues. And then when you're also adding comics into your collection. So when I'm working on my collection, I usually have my laptop open. So if I need to do something a little more complex, I've got that already pulled up. But if I'm just scanning through books, I can rip through about 120 books an hour into my collection just using the cover scanner. So you just point, you click, you hit the plus button, and put in the information about it, and you're done. And it's also great when you're bargain shopping. If you're at a flea market, you see an old issue, the guy wants 15 bucks for it. You can take a quick scan, get a guide value for that, and it helps you with your negotiation process and kind of, it's just a pretty slick tool. I know that some of our competitors out there have barcode scanners, and that's great. But there are a lot of there's a lot of things that you have to kind of think about. And as we were trying to kind of conceptualize how we would do that, how we would work around the fact that some of the barcodes are duplicated, and so there's when DC uses barcodes, it makes it really hard to identify covers by barcode. So we just decided to go all in and do the cover recognition stuff, and it's worked really well. You can scan slab books. I've scanned old Bronze and Silver Age stuff that's in pretty dire condition, I would say. So it'll scan down to like a 2 or a 3. As long as the cover is there and not huge chunks out of it, it's pretty good about identifying that. Yep.
As Adrian said, he said, 15 bucks, bruh, OverStreet app says it's worth 25 cents. I think we need a commercial.
Yeah.
That sounds like right up my alley. Actually, LCSs, I've actually used this app, and while I'm in the LCS, and they literally hate me for it. So I always tell them ahead of time, I'm not gonna overpay, but I also know that you got to make some
Well,
money.
one of the benefits of kind of working with Diamond through this is that we've had access to kind of all of the retailers, or a lot of the retailer community out there. And we've been working with retailers to put out retailer specific functionality here, and we're making it free for retailers, so it incentivizes them to use the system too. It's a great tool for them. So if a retailer goes out and buys a collection, generally they'll go through and they'll cherry pick the keys, the grails out of that collection, and that's what gets put behind the counter. But a lot of the retailers don't have the square footage inside their brick and mortar to put all of the other back issues that they've got there. So a lot of them are lucky enough to have space for a bunch of long boxes, but I guarantee every single one of them has a storage area or warehouse that's got even more. This way, this gives them the ability to kind of let collectors know what they've got, maybe that's not on the front shelves. Because collectors need those $1 and $2 back issues to fill runs just as much as they need the $50 $100 grails and keys out there too. So this is a great tool for kind of both sides of that collector equation to be able to help finish their collections and stuff. So
Now, I do have to toot your horn because you didn't talk about this part. So Shawn stays up every day and night. He's a vampire. No pun intended. I know our next guest is into Philadelphia, and the background of that is vampiric. But Shawn literally stays up all night to make sure that the variants are all scanned in, or at least properly put in, so that way all those issues are accounted for, which has saved me a ton of time. The scanner is amazing. I love the fact that once you scan it, it's fairly quick. I can look at all the variants and go straight up and down the options, which is really cool. So I appreciate that big time. I appreciate all the work that you do behind the scenes, because that's a lot of work.
it's a lot. I mean, with all the new comics that come out every week, we try and get everything up by end of day Wednesday, Thursday morning at the latest, so that we can get it, as many issues out there as we can. We get about 500 or 600 issues, new issues a week, but at this point, like half of those are variants. So it's pretty crazy going out and sourcing all of those and making sure that we get all that information in there. But
So what's next? Well, first of all, we should probably tell people what the surprise is, which is I'm not Oprah, so I can't afford everyone to get membership. But what is Overstreet doing? We're doing some giveaways. It'll be random, so you'll get something from me. I also wanted to let you know that I have gamification on in the background. So everything that you do, whether you go into a booth, you're attending a session, you're communicating, you're networking, all that stuff is accounted for, and there's a point evaluation to it. So yes, this feels like school all over again, but I think it's for a good cause. So we'll be randomizing folks at the top tier levels to make sure that you get this surprise. So Shawn, do you want to tell them what it is?
We're planning on giving away some lifetime gold memberships here to people who are lucky enough to get those. And basically sign you up and you get full access. And yeah, so
Yeah,
that's given out periodically today.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Lifetime, so you get to use it like literally the next day. So I'll make sure that you all get it. Who are the winners? So we'll make sure that you do that. But again, I want you to engage in the platform, visit people's booths, talk to them, chat, do all the things that you need to on this platform for today. I appreciate you all for being uh, very patient with the opening. Maybe I wasn't supposed to speak today. It was all about you all. And but I do wanted to say thank you to Overstreet. I wanted to thank the Geppi family in particular for also really supporting since day one this con. And also want to make sure that you all check out Overstreet Access. And if you know, even if you decide, hey, let me try it out the free, let's go, let's see. I think it's definitely a game changer in our collectible pursuits to make sure that we fill in gaps, get our grails.
Well, thanks again for having us on. You know, we love doing these events, and your event is super awesome, and it's, you know, we're proud to be a part of that. And yeah, like I said, I'll be hanging out in the booth if anybody else wants to come and chat and hang out.
But thank you so much, Shawn. Thank you so much, Overstreet. Thank you for supporting and Geppi Family Enterprises. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.